This is another video in this series on learning to compose using Ableton Live. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how to use a couple MIDI effects to sort of quickly generate some ideas that then we can play with and work with. So I've got a simple synth patch loaded here. So what I'm going to do is, for instance, if I just play the notes, I'm playing just a C right now. I can actually, if you're not that good of a pianist, let's say, or you want to have some, there's a great MIDI effect here called Chord. And so these are some preset chords. If I grab just the default, what I can do is I can set a number of sort of steps that will additionally play. So if I, for instance, if I adjust this one and I say up this would be 4 half steps. You can hear that if I turn this off, right? So now nothing is playing. So that's just a single note. And now if I bring this up to +4, which is up 4 half steps, which will add now an E natural above the C I'm playing. And I can now go +7 to make it a major triad. And I could go up to 10 to make it a dominant 7th. And I can keep this going, for instance, make it a 9th chord. I can also add some crunch in here if I want. All right, let's grab a preset. So again, you can create your own chords this way, which is really fantastic. You can save these as presets if you want to. So I can click on this button. And then in my user library, so I'll call this, so let's see, Dom 7, sharp 4, add 9. There we go. So that's that chord. Cool. Let me go back to the actual MIDI effects and grab one of these. So I'm going to delete this one. And let's just grab a couple of these. So I'm going to grab house to go. Sounds like this. Pretty nice, pretty easy. And there's one called Film Noir. So now, whoops, that replaced it. So let me actually go back here and try to grab house to go and add both of them here. So now I've actually, now watch this. So that's pretty cool. So this first one is playing a chord, Film Noir. And then I believe we're adding these notes to every one of those. Pretty crazy. But what I can also do is have one on for a while, turn this one off, and have another one. And so let me show you how we can do that in automation. All right, so I'm going to turn on Film Noir. I've got my metronome on, and I'm going to, so there's what that sounds like. So let's record something using this. Okay, I'm going to clean this up a little bit now. Go in here. I'm going to fold this so I just see the notes that I want to see. I'm going to select all and quantize this. I'll quantize it to the quarter note and hit OK. And I'm going to hit legato, so that should work. I'm going to actually make this, whoops. I'm going to select this last note. I'm going to make the loop a little bit shorter. So I'm going to add just an extra 2 beats on the end of it. So it's a little bit irregular. So now we have like this kind of 6-beat ending here. And if I hit loop and loop this up here now, whoops. All right, so it isn't always lining up on the downbeat, but I kind of like that sometimes, is to not always have my loops go every 2 or 4 beats. So sometimes mix it up a little bit. So again, here's what this sounds like. If I double click on the track, now I can go back to this device view. So here's the Film Noir version. And then I can also hear what this sounds like with the house to go, house 4 to go. So let's say I wanted to have house 4 to go start this, and then later I wanted to switch to go to this film noir. So I can do this with automation. So what I can do is turn on automation up here. Okay, so I've got house to go selected. I've got my device on off selected. So it's on here at the beginning. And what I'm going to do is then turn it off here. No, I don't. I don't want to do it there. I want to do it at the beginning of this next loop. So I'm going to move this over to here. So, and then, so if I actually start playing, for instance, from here. So you can see I turn this off. And now what I want to do is at this point, turn on the film noir one. So I can go to now film noir and make sure it's off at the beginning of this and then turn it on right here. And so now what we'll hear is, I'll just start here in the middle. We'll see, and you can see house to go will be on, and then it'll switch to film noir. So that's a pretty cool way we could actually like change chords on the fly just using automation. So another cool thing we can do to all of this is actually add an arpeggiator. So I'm just going to option click drag this, and now I've duplicated the track. And if I add an arpeggiator at the end of this, now what will happen is I'll just go up, is that we'll have an arpeggiation. Let me just solo this track and see what this sounds like. Now with basically the same chords and things starting with house 4 to go at the beginning and then switching to film noir. And these chords will now be arpeggiated. Cool, so you can hear that it changed the film noir. Let's say I want to actually change the style of the arpeggiator. So what I could also do then is, so I've got my arpeggiator selected here and my style. And so what I'll do at the beginning is I want to have it just go up for house to go. But then when we get later, I'm going to have it go, oh, let's try converge for, whoops, oh, go up. There we go. Converge. Which is a different style of arpeggiation for the film noir. So I'm going to start from back here and just hear arpeggiation going up for house 4 to go, and then the arpeggiation and the film noir will both change there. And you can see that the style changed and all that changed. So it's all being controlled through automation, which is really, really cool. Last thing I might want to do is actually hear these two tracks together. I think I'll change this sound now we have here into maybe more like an ambient pad or something like that. So let me delete that in the, whoops. So I'm going to go to my first track here and choose a different sound. So I'm going to delete this, go to my instruments, and let's just grab an analog pad here. So we'll just grab that, see what this sounds like now. So just the pads. okay. I'm not sure I like that, but we'll see. Let's try what these both sound like together. I'm going to bring down the level for the pad a little bit here, so adjust my automation. Let's try this again. There we go. So just kind of playing around with this and just kind of seeing what I can kind of come up with. So just using a couple chord effects, and then on this second track, adding an arpeggiator, right? So adding this arpeggiator here. We have two different sounds, right? Being able to load different sounds into each of the track, right? So we started with this analog key sound in both tracks. Then I decided to take this first track and maybe make it a different pad sound as a background to these arpeggiated figures. So yeah, just a few things that you can kind of play with. You can of course customize, come up with your own chord sets as I showed you earlier. And so just another way to kind of work and build up a layer of a piece. So I'm going to option click this track. Now, get rid of Film Noir and House to Go. We're just going to use these notes as a baseline. I'm going to, I'll adjust the volume probably. Maybe I'll bring this up a little bit. I'll have to adjust it later. And I want to now replace this pad with a bass. I'll go to my instruments. Let me type bass, see what we can kind of come up with here. Oh, let's try something in simpler. So I just grab this bass sound. I'm going to solo this track. Now I need to bring this way lower because this is not a bass now. One thing I could do is just select the track and drag all the notes down an octave. There's another way I can do this by going to a MIDI effect, not search for bass, and now I can grab one of these pitch and let me drop it down one octave and see if I like that. So this just transposes it by a set level. So in this case, down one octave. Let's see what down 2 octaves would sound like. All right, I'm not sure. That might be too much. Let's see what all this sounds together. I think the 2 octaves is a little much. Let's just bring it 1 octave and try that again. So there you got the idea. We can kind of keep adding different layers just from these same sequences. So, and of course we can change things up as well and recompose things and stuff like that. So, all right, hope you find this useful.